Was that an impala that just alarm called, or was it a bird?
No, it was an impala.
Something like it could have been an impala alarm call nearby. Often came in or found any tracks of these animals this morning, so a big thank you to Andrew who gave us a call. It does sound like a bird actually that's calling. I think it's a lilac-breasted roller that we got confused with for the impala alarm calling. Now, even though they're asleep now, and they could well sleep the rest of the day, they're not exceptionally full-bellied. And because we don't see lion very often, it would be very nice to spend some time with them, and the longer we spend with them, the more likely it is that we will see them doing something. So, great prospects for this morning, and hopefully this afternoon even. We are close to our southern boundary here, very close, probably just a few hundred feet away. So lucky that they decided to come slightly south as opposed to north. Sorry, just doing a little video here. Me and Brian and my pole went into the shot there, apologies for that. But really trying to get as much footage as I can now that things are drawing so close. And very lucky because we've got some wonderful subjects this morning. Oh, how many are here? 1, 2. There's 2 that look like they're probably maybe 7 or 8 months old. Maybe a little bit older than that. So 2 of us very similar size. And then definitely 1 young male. And what look like 4 or 5 potentially adult lioness, but hard to say. That is an impala. It's not a lilac-breasted roller, and it's obviously been alarm calling for a while. And I just actually did see it wag its tail through some bushes. They're not far off, but interesting that the lion are paying no interest whatsoever to them. They may have had a failed attempt at catching them, and now that they've lost the elements of surprise, they've given up, because without the elements of surprise, it's almost impossible for any predator to bring down its prey. Anyway, back to the total of lions that we can see here. If you haven't counted yet, I've only just got round to it. So it's 2 youngsters and 5 quite large lioness, it looks like, and 1 young male that looks like he could be coming on 2 years of age roughly. So 8 of them in total that we can see here. It's incredible how animals that can be so fierce can also be so loving and gentle. And they're not just fierce with other animals, they can be ferocious amongst one another. And if you put all these lions now on an impala kill. You would hear a lot of growling, and there would be a lot of stray paws being flung through the air towards one another, jostling to try and get into the best position and to feed on. They turn on, affectionate with one another, these two. I wonder which one's more comfortable. I think I would like to be the one on the right with my feet up, if I could choose. You wonder what it is that tired them out last night. It would be so interesting to follow them through the night, because that's when they are most active. But to do that without affecting them, we would need to have some great infrared or night vision equipment, because as soon as you start following animals at night with the use of spotlights, it does make it difficult as soon as anything exciting happens, because if, for example, a pride of lion or leopard come across some potential prey, you can't shine on the prey because you'll be blinding the prey with the spotlights. Therefore make it for the lion, because then you know to get the last parts of a chase. But very difficult at night to follow them without affecting the situation. But I'm hoping in the future, if there are future projects, we will incorporate that kind of technology and that kind of a plan into the Safari Live experience, because it would allow us to show you some really interesting behavior and activities, and the activities that make them tired. So as opposed to watching them sleep, we could actually watch them in action, which would be seeing them sleeping. And we typically do in summer during the daylight hours. In winter they are more likely to be active during the day. Go ahead with your question, Alex. Kathy in Tennessee, good morning and welcome. Yes, you're correct. The noise you can hear in the background is impala alarm calling. Initially, when I heard the first few calls, I wasn't entirely sure, and I thought it could have been a lilac-breasted roller that actually makes a similar noise. Slightly similar. Very slightly similar. But there are certain impala. I have seen a very brief glimpse of them just wagging their tails, but it's very thick where they are, but not far from these lion. And I did mention earlier, you may have just joined a little bit later, that they could well have, these lion could well have tried to catch these impala on their way through to this point and failed. And once you've blotched an attempt and they know you're around as a predator, your chances of catching them basically drop to zero. The element of surprise is critical. This is the young male who's just lifted his head up, and you can see the mane developing. And as I did mention earlier, probably around 2 years of age. I don't know the exact dynamics of this pride. Like I say, this is the first time I've seen them actually all together. I've seen 3 lionesses from this pride on one occasion together. But sadly the vehicle I was on didn't have any broadcast signal from where we were, so Hayden came over and took over that sighting because his vehicle did pick up signal there, and he did actually manage to see them stalking some Inyala. It was a great sighting, but that was months ago. And then I think the most recent time I saw some of them, I think it was just 2 lioness. Now that male's just looked at some impala that are behind us. That's exactly what he's honed in on. And I've just looked back and I can see a small herd of impala moving actually in this direction. And if we just get a few more members of this pride to see, they may take this opportunity, even though you may ask yourself there's impala just behind them that are alarm calling, but therein lies the problem. Those impala know that these lion are here, whereas the ones that are approaching from the north don't. So there's a small chance that we could see some action at this stage, but far too early to predict that. So yeah, the most recent time I saw these animals, I think, was, oh, wonderful. Is he going to show some initiative here in a potential hunt? Or is he just going to go and flop down underneath another bush? I think we might get lucky. Now the problem is the impala that are approaching, that don't know about these lion necessarily, will have heard the audio of these other impala alarm calling, so they will be on high alert. But when there's this many lion around, if they do spread out now and create a bit of chaos and cause these impala to run around, because they do have these numbers, there's a chance an impala could run into the wrong lion or into the wrong place where there's a lion waiting in ambush. If lion only slept kind of 20 meters apart, creating almost a net, so that if animals do walk past, they are naturally almost pre-set up in a hunting position. Whereas by lying all clustered like this, if anything does approach, they don't necessarily have time to spread out. So it's an interesting thing that certainly helps the predators, and if the lion weren't so affectionate with one another, they'd probably be able to make more kills. Like I said, they'd be almost always ready in a position to start encompassing prey. And that's, I guess, what he's done now, but he would need to go a lot further away in order to try and be able to chase impala to one another. Good signs. There's also other members of the pride lifting up their head now and beginning to yawn, so maybe they'll get up for us. Looking very good. Lions are waking up. It's asking if the lion will make a kill if an easy opportunity presents itself, and they certainly will, and I think this is what we might be seeing here. Lions on the move. Wonderful. Some minutes wouldn't have with these are totally full-bellied, and this is just what we want, because it means that we may be able to see some of this action that is so rare to see. This cub may attempt or start sharpening its claws or doing some claw maintenance on this tree before the hunt. And that cub's probably not going to contribute too greatly to the whole hunt if they do decide to continue hunting. Which it does look like they may be in. Almost through some form of telepathy that they communicate with one another and coordinate these hunts on it any. Oh, they already appear to be flopping themselves down. Well, they may have flopped themselves down, but at least they did get up for us. You may have noticed the impala's alarm calls appear to have intensified since the lions got on the move, and that's understandable. Best option is here, but I'm trying to go all the way around them, try and get a better angle, and that way we might also be able to get a visual of these impala alarm calling to show you what it all looks like. You've certainly heard it enough times now, so maybe we can show you one performing this nasal snort.